Zack, thanks so much for taking some time to hang with us today. I really appreciate it. It's great to be with you.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me, David. It's amazing.
So you come across someone in everyday life, you strike up a conversation and they say, "Sir, what do you do?" How do you describe that to them?
Well, I would say first, it's a good question. Thank you for asking. What I do, like in a one sentence thing, I paint people in gold and I capture the essence with photography so they can awaken to their divine self. That's in a one
And
sentence thing.
they look at you like, "What? You paint people in gold? Is this like some weird sexual thing, or is this like, what is this? I don't understand."
Well, it's actually like the kind of pictures that you can see behind me, where really people can step into the what I call the 0 point field, which is where for the in Buddhism, it's really when you reach such a level of high meditation when you can really let go of everything, surrender, and release everything. And we can only step into that 0 point field by being literally like nobody, no one. You can't get in there with your ego. Like if you think you're somebody, you don't have the key to that door. And literally, the more ordinary to get, the more ordinary. You have to become so super ordinary that at the end you become extraordinary. And when you reach that field, the 0 point field, we see those two people here really letting go. That's where you are no one, nowhere, no face. You forgot your name, your age. You're not a weight on the, when you're weighting yourself. You're not a house, you're not a wallet, you don't have a job, you don't even have a name. And that's where everything becomes possible. So that's really what we are, doing. Getting into that space where everything becomes magically the 0 point field, like everything becomes possible. Yeah.
Well, I know
And it has nothing to do. I know when we think nude, we're like, wait, what, nude? But then we're not entirely nude. People are still wearing like drapes or whatever, like beautiful, ornament they want to bring. Or we have also a lot of different options. They can wear like underwear, bathing suits, stuff like that. And some people decide to go like, like the first day where they were born, like completely naked. It's up to like how you feel. You get the closer to your soul and your higher self. If it's the, if that's it, then we're gonna do that too.
Well, I know we're going to go deeper into the whole process of this experience in just a minute, but I want to begin by just hearing a little bit about your own personal journey, your awakening to consciousness, mindfulness, spirituality. Did you grow up with some sort of spirituality in your household, or how did that unfold for you?
Not at all. Not at all. I grew up like a Catholic, so I'm French. I was born in France. I grew up like a Catholic, but we didn't really go to church or anything like that. But I had my communion, I had my baptism, and after that, that was it. And eventually we would go to church, for Christmas Eve, maybe like 3 or 4 times. But I was always very connected to the Mother Mary my entire life. She's been very present in my life. And one day I was like in my, I don't know, like early 30s. And I was brought by a friend of mine to Serbia in Medjugorje. I don't know if you heard of that place, where supposedly the Virgin Mary she appeared to 5 people. Some now I would say some like 35, 40 years ago. Don't quote me on that. And she keeps talking to one lady. She literally talks to her every month, the second of the month. And she gives messages that are immediately translated in different languages. It's all over YouTube. And I was brought there. I didn't believe in it. I had zero, yeah, the Virgin Mary is going to appear. Even the Vatican, for like decades, they didn't recognize the miraculous, because there's a lot of like miracles also happening there. And they didn't recognize those apparitions. But 2 or 3 years ago, because of all the miracles, they finally recognized the apparitions of Medjugorje. And I was brought there. this lady is called Miriana. She appears to Miriana every second of the month. And I was there, brought by a friend. I didn't believe anything on that. I was not that connected, nothing to do like now, like really, really far away. Like seems like thousands of years ago. And then
How old were you?
I was 30, 33, 34, something like that.
Okay.
And my friend, I was going through a very difficult relationship, very like, draining relationship, literally. We were breaking up, getting back together, breaking up, getting back together. And I didn't have the strength I could never find the strength to really, really get out of this relationship. And my friend told me, she's like, you know what? When your problem is too big for you, just give it to Mother Mary. She's going to solve the problem for you. And it was like, oh yeah, how magical is this? I remember like, yeah, sure. Okay. Well, you know what? It was in August. It was in the summer and in Paris. Everything is closed in August. So I had nothing to do. And she's like, I'm going next week, as a matter of fact, to Medjugorje. We land in Croatia, Dubrovnik. We take a bus for 6 hours. It's in the mountains, it's a little bit of a journey. And then you're going to, see how you feel over there. And we have an apparition coming out on the 2nd of the month. So we went there. We went to the apparition at 8 a.m. I remember I was up in the mountain in the little church. And I think it was like, we got there at 7:45. And there's a lot of Italians there because it's right in front of Italy, the east coast of Italy. So they just take the boat and they cross over. And, they're very religious and they're very like praticant in Italy. They really believe. And so I felt like it was like I was like I don't know, like a Britney Spears concert. It was like really crazy, and everybody was excited to see Miriana and see the apparition. When you don't see anything, only Miriana can talk to her. And if you see on YouTube, and I'm happy to send you a link afterwards, you see she's really talking to someone, and she cries, and she has this connection. Sometimes the apparitions are outdoor, sometimes they are indoor in the church. And in that case, it was indoor in the little church. And at 8:05, I see Miriana coming out of a shack with 2 huge bodyguards going into that church where apparently the apparition was supposed to happen. And 8:05, 8:04, 8:03, everybody's trying to grab her, touch her, as she's passing, like she's the Pope. And there's 2 like Serbian bodyguards, so like mountains, like really protecting her. She gets in the church, and I don't know what happened in the church. 8:21, 8 a.m. I will never forget that moment that changed my life forever. I have goosebumps. I don't know what happened inside the church because I was outside, right? Like, like 10 feet away from the wall. I felt like a shower of love. Like it became here an inner shower of love. And I started to cry. I was like completely blessed with an incredible, fabulous, colossal, amount of like love. And I cried and cried and cried. And my friend didn't feel anything. And she's like, are you okay? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's going on here, but I think there is something going on in the church. So that was the first thing. Second thing, my friend has been there many times. And I'm going to make it short because I love that story so much. Such a great memory in my heart. So she's made friends in Serbia. And so Sunday, we are invited for lunch with local people that I know because I've been here many times, so I've made friends. We go there, long table, 30 people, brothers, sisters, kids running, like playing with the dogs, long table under the trees. It was beautiful. And at the end of the lunch, the owner of the house looks at me and he said, you want to visit my factory? I'm like, sure. Say, well, it's right across. It was like really countryside. It's a factory. It's like a warehouse. And he said, across the street there, I build statues of the Virgin Mary. That's what I do. And I sell them to tourists when they come to visit Medjugorje. I'm like, okay, so we visit the entire, factory. I was very impressed, like different sizes and, positions is always this or, the hands like that. And when we're done visiting, he looks at me and said, pick one. And I'm like, okay. I didn't think about bringing like a statue, of the Virgin Mary back in my suitcase in Paris. And so okay, so I pick one, a good size. It's actually in the bedroom right now. And this is like 20 some years ago. And I'm like, how much do I owe you? And the guy's like, no, it's a gift. It's for you. It's a gift. Take it. And in those countries, they are really poor. It's very, very difficult. And I saw, during the lunch that he was supporting I felt like he was supporting the entire family and the kids and all that. And I'm like, no, I actually, I wanted to buy one. I wanted to bring one to Paris, and I'm happy to get it from you, which wasn't true, but I wanted to pay for the statue, right? and the guy's like, no, it's a gift. It's a gift for you. And I insist, and he gets mad. It's like, no, it's a gift. You are not paying for this statue. I'm like, okay, all right, well, really appreciate you. Thank you so much. We leave the statue. My friend looks at me. She's like, I've known this guy for 10 years. He's never given me anything. What's going on? I don't know. Then I pray to the Virgin Mary, and I help what my friend told me initially, just, get me out of this relationship, because this is, like draining me, and it's really not good for my health. And I know we're going nowhere with that. I go back to Paris, and she did one thing that I cannot reveal. She did one thing, the one thing that was the drop, that really I'm like, this is it. I am done with that person. I will never see her again. And I never saw her again. And after that, I came to live in the US. It was a long time ago. It was like long time ago, like 16, 17 years ago. And a few years later, I came to live in the US. So that was really, shocking to me. And then I started to connect more and more. I never connected with Jesus. For me, I saw that guy on the cross. I had no connection with it. But my friend always told me, the mother's going to take you to her son. That's what she does. Don't rush it. One day I'm in Woodland Hills in church, Sunday. And I think I'm thinking about that journey in Medjugorje that happened 20 some years before that. Okay. Because now I'm talking 5 years ago. I'm in church, and I'm thinking about that cross, that huge crucifix that I brought back from Medjugorje. Okay, it's like you go to Disneyland, you bring the T-shirt or the mug, right? So I had the cross from Medjugorje. That I brought. I had the statue of the Virgin Mary that this guy gave me, but I never put that cross on the wall, because I'm like, I don't connect. I really can't connect, but I kept it. I moved in the US with the cross. I moved in different apartments, 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms, house, etc. And it was always in a drawer, right? And that day, 5 years ago, in church in Woodland Hills, I'm like, I'm going to put the cross on the wall on top of my bed. I don't know why this, I don't know. The next day, I wake up, another moment, I will never forget. I put the cross on the wall, and poof, I am showered by a feeling of peace. It was not love. It was peace. And then I'm like, oh wow, that's the Prince of Peace. Okay, now I get it. And I remember I had to go. I had appointments and stuff, and I canceled everything. I had to go because I was scared that when I would come back, this feeling would be gone. And I bathed in this feeling of peace for like 3-4 hours. It was so miraculous. I loved it. And indeed, when I had finally to go and I came back, it was gone, and it never happened again. But it did happen once, and that was already a gift. So then I started to connect with Jesus. Maybe there is more to the story. And I read the book, the Jesus, my autobiography, and started to be interested in the Bible. And then I got more and more, always very connected to the Virgin Mary. But I got more and more into Jesus, and I really discovered the love, the heart, the purity of the soul, the guidance. And in the meantime, I had started painting people in gold, right? But I didn't know why I was painting in gold people. So this happened all together at the same time. So with my awakening, painting people in gold, I started 8 years ago. I had no idea why. I literally didn't know why. I thought it looked cool. And I am in love with the Italian Renaissance, like Michelangelo, Donatello, Leonardo da Vinci, and all those guys. I was in Italy this summer, visiting in Rome, visiting, the Chapel 16, and this is my thing. So I love the the beauty and the spirit of it and the elegance of it and the magic of it and the revolution that it was in the 17th century, really, to have those artists like really literally change completely the sense of art in the world, and it had never happened again ever since. So I didn't know why I was doing gold, but there is this connection with the Italian Renaissance. And then I started to do 5 years ago. I'm like, I need to know what I'm supposed to do on Earth. I want to make sure if there is a mission that I am on my mission, I am on my path. And I heard about ayahuasca and plant medicines. I've never done it, but I'm like, I'm going to try to do that. And that was really what I needed to remove the veil and really, really reconnect. So I had my first experience was amazing. Virgin Mary came to me, like a lot of love. I was showered with love again, but I really saw her this time. Jesus again, the peace. And then surprisingly enough, Buddha, the laughing, sitting Buddha, stared at me and we were laughing with each other and I felt a lot of joy. So it was love, peace, joy, and I feel so amazed. I loved my first experience, but I didn't receive any message. So I did it again. And it's only on my third ceremony that I met God, literally, and my version of God, because who knows, who God is. And then he clearly told me, you're a healer, heal the world, I'll give you a VIP pass. And then I went down back on Earth from this encounter with him, really, 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 really high up there. And I started to I was in Brazil in the jungle. So this happened in Santa Barbara. But in my trip, after talking to God, I am in the jungle, Amazonian jungle in Brazil, and I put my hands on the floor, and like a cartoon, like a Disney cartoon, everything turns gold and white and green, and the butterfly starting to fly, and like the grass like turn like more green and alive and rejuvenated. I'm like, wow. And then I touch the tree, same thing. The tree is completely excited and the birds fly away. And I put my hands in the river and the fish jump and I heal. I see the light. I can see the light. I cannot explain that, like some kind of a golden shimmering light running through the river and healing everything on its way. Then I'm like, man, this is incredible. So I go in the ocean, I heal and clean the bottom of the ocean, but it was so easy. Everything was really easy. I mingled with the dolphins and the sharks and the whales, and I clean and heal everything. I get out of the ocean on the other side in Africa, and then I do the same thing with the lions, crocodiles, rhinos, giraffe, and all the animals. And then I started to dig the earth, enter in the soil. It was very easy. I was like Superman, literally. I was like opening like that, and the soil was opening, and I was getting inside until I got in the heart of this, like what appeared to be the center of the earth. And I saw a big heart like that, dark red burgundy, beating for us humans with an incredible love, like, so much love for us human. And then she told me, I give you everything. I give you the animals that you eat. I give you the vegetables. I give you the beets. I give you the cherries. I give you the tomatoes. I give you everything. And that's how you treat me. And then I'm like, because when you're in that state, you don't think, which is the beauty of it. It's all in the heart.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately I'm like, I got you. I get off the soil. I get back in the sky as far as I can to see the earth like that. I open my hands and I had waves of love coming out of my hands, hitting the earth. And every time I would see a crack, the crack would like slowly disappear. And then I would, and I was laughing. I remember I was laying down because you are laying down on the mattress while you're having this crazy experience. And I remember I was laughing on my mattress, on my mat, like I realized I was like Neo when he understood he could dodge the bullets. And then that was just a phenomenal experience. And then I flew even higher until I was able to see the entire solar system. And then I did the same thing and I healed and fixed the entire solar system. So that was That
Mm.
was, right before all that. If I rewind, God told me, "You're a healer, heal the world. I give you a VIP pass."
Mhm.
And then it was nothing about gold again. But then I went in the jungle because I'm like, I need to dig further. I'm a Mercury. I'm double Mercury. I'm Gemini, rising Virgo, and I need to understand and go to the bottom of things. So I went to the jungle for 2 weeks in Amazonia in Putumayo, and I did five.
Literally. This time you're literally in the jungle this time.
I'm literally yeah, exactly, but not yeah. You land in Bogota, then you take a bush flight, you go in Putumayo, and then you're in the jungle, really in the jungle in South Colombia. It's called Putumayo, the region. And I did 5 ceremonies, and then really there, like conversation with Jesus, and I really went all the way up there, which I thought the last layer was white, and I realized over the white, which is really tough to go. On top of the white, the last layer is gold. That's where all the ascendant masters hang. And far from being an ascendant master, I was not invited in the gold layer. But because I was such a warrior of light or whatever, I don't know how to call that, I was with so much determination and strength and willpower able to go all the way, all the way, all the way, all the way. But you're shaking like that. You're like, those movies about some movies are happening in the cosmos when you're really shaking and you think you're going to explode. And my heart started to shatter. And then I was eventually able to scratch the last surface, which is gold. I was not inside, but I scratched it and had gold under my nails. Okay. And with the gold under my nail, it was enough for me to immediately turn into an alchemist and then to have the ability to turn obscurity and darkness into light, hatred into love, stupidity into knowledge, and et cetera, et cetera. And so that was one of the sessions where I really started to see the gold. And then I had clear connection. When I came back from the jungle, I started to connect with the Holy Spirit, which has always been my favorite, with like the Virgin Mary, like I said. And I meditate around 5:30, and often I see the white bird, the white dove, and I got messages. I got messages, and they clearly told me, started in the jungle, and when I came back in LA, that my mission was really to awaken people to their divine self by painting them in gold so they could see the divine, they could see the last layer, the ascendant master layer. So it took, to make it short, and it's a little long, I apologize. It's we're talking about like a total of maybe 10 ceremonies to really get there. Really, shading, removing the layers. And that's when I really awakened to my purpose and understood why I was doing gold, and it really is my life mission. Yeah.
Oh,
I
my
apologize. It
goodness.
was a
Thank you
little
so
long.
much.
I tried to get it condensed, but it's yeah.
Yeah, you're a fascinating storyteller, and
Thank you.
it's obviously not just a story; it's your life that you're sharing in just a beautiful
Yeah.
way. Talk to me a little bit about gold itself. I know you, because this is a major focus for your life, have done a lot of research on gold, and you think deeply about gold. What
Yeah.
is the deeper meaning behind gold itself? You've scratched the surface a little bit, but I'd love to hear a little bit more on that.
Yeah, literally scratch the surface with my nails. But
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I started to make the research, and I always believe that in order to understand why and where we are today, we need to see what we're doing like yesterday or before yesterday or thousands of years ago. And then I started to research Mesopotamia, for example. It was very interesting because it's difficult to talk about gold without talking about Mesopotamia, which is literally the cradle of civilization. Currently, like Iraq, Iran, Turkey, and at the time, we're talking 3500 BC, it extended to also Kuwait and Syria. It was a huge region from where a lot of like amazing civilizations were born. And it's where literally humanity's first major developments were made. We're talking about the invention of the wheel. Like imagine this, one day, one guy woke up and said, how about we make something round out of that chunk of like whatever that is, a stone or wood, I don't know. And if we make two of the same diameter, maybe we can make a cart and start rolling stuff around. I'm always like in awe, when like somebody came up with that. The invention of the wheel, the planting of crops, mathematics, astronomy, even writing that was later on used by the Egyptians. They also invented the time. They said, okay, we have 12 hours during the day, 12 hours at night. Let's put some hours on it so we can define literally a society, organize, work time. Show up at 9, you leave at 5, etc., etc. Very advanced civilization. And I found out that the Sumerians and the Akkadians that literally dominated Mesopotamia from nearly 3100 BC to an entire time period, and when I say the entire time period, it's really 3500 BC to 500 BC, so it's a long time. Those people were like major brains, and they considered and revered gold not only for its rarity and its beauty, but for its deep spiritual significance. For them, it was a material imbued with divine energy, and they considered gold as carrying the light of the gods, making it the perfect medium for connecting with the divine automatically. So, wow, when I discovered this, I was like, okay, now I understand better. And they associated gold with the divine and the sun. And to them, it was linked to the gods, like Shamash, also known as Utu, the sun god of truth and justice. And it was a preferred material for offerings also, and asked for enlightenment, protection, and favors from the god. And the Mesopotamians, they would actually, in burial practices, they would use gold to honor their high status individual like priests and kings, believed to hold a closer connection to the gods. And they would adorn their deceased in gold because they would hope that way to secure a favorable reception in the afterlife. And I'm like, wow, this is really interesting. And then from that, I go to Hinduism. And then I was blown away. And I'm like, okay, I'm right on. Then I understand my visions. Because Hinduism, 1500 BC, they figured out what the Western world is today craving. And let me tell you about this, because I thought it was really, really interesting what I found out. So in Hinduism, gold is sacred, and it's been for millennia a symbol of divine purity, wealth, prosperity, and spiritual significance, again, often referred to, and it's very beautiful, as mineral light. That's how they call gold in the ancient text. Gold embodies, and that's where we come to what the Western world is craving today. Gold embodies three things. And look it up, because it's crazy. Awakening, we're talking 1500 AD, David. BC, I'm sorry, before Christ. Awakening, knowledge, immortality. And today, what do we talk about? We talk about awakening, but I can forecast that in 20 years from now, if not before, we're going to talk about immortality. And that's going to be, this is coming right off. And I'm talking about like immortality not being like Highlander immortal, but I'm thinking in 20 years from now, we'll have all the components to be able to live up to 150 or 200 years, which is immortal compared to now, of course. So I think this is coming. Awakening, immortality, knowledge. And you can put those three words in whatever order you want. It's like people want, that's what we want. Immortality, knowledge, awakening, immortality, knowledge, whatever you want. And if we go deep and we dig a little deeper, in the vast and literally fascinating, literature of Hinduism, with the Vedas, the Puranas, the Upanishads, or even the epic story of Mahabharata or Ramayana, we find out that gold has been permanently featured as a material of both material and spiritual significance. So I'm like, here, this is, you don't make this up. It says, and the Vedas, so Veda, the word Veda means knowledge. The Vedas is the equivalent of the Bible, let's say, okay, in Hinduism. The Vedas teaches you how to live a good life, connect with the divine, and understand the universe. And in the Vedas, you have the Rig Veda, which are the hymns, the chants. You have 1,028 chants divided in 10 different books, okay? Then you have another book about the melodies and another book about the prayers, etc., etc. And the key component of the Rig Veda that I found out that blew me away is the notion of Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha in Sanskrit means the golden egg or the golden womb, which is literally the cosmic womb from which all creation originates. And the Rig Veda describes this as the beginning of everything, where literally the creation originates. So in that context, gold represents the origin of creation, the light of knowledge, and most importantly, and if people are watching this podcast and they have to remember one thing from gold, I would love for this thing to be the following: is the purity of the soul. Gold equal purity of the soul, and I think if we're talking like a pure soul, like really like ascended master, ascended master level soul is gold. So this is like really powerful. And then I realized this is what I saw, and this is why I got this message, and this is why I'm doing this. And then I researched the Egyptians and also ancient Americas, like, for example, the Incas, the Mayans, the Aztecs, the Toltecs before them, the Olmecs, the less known Olmecs that used to make those like stone heads, like 10 feet stone heads, like 2 or 3 tons, like really heavy, made out of volcanic stone. Like as of today, we don't know how they made those. In their regions, the Olmecs, they didn't have that stone. They had to go and get it. We don't know how they transported it, how they carved it, how they did what they did. It's unbelievable. The Zapotecs like created one of the very first writing system in the Americas, and 10 more civilizations. Okay, all those civilizations, the ancient Americas. I mean, they left a legacy of very advanced societal structures. And magnificent, literally brilliant cultural achievements and significant contributions to history. Literally, what do they tell us? They tell you 3 things. Gold is a manifestation of the divine, all of them. They tell you objects fashioned from it is a means of connecting to a supernatural world. And they tell you gold is an active agent in an ongoing engagement with powerful forces. So it's like in Colombia, actually, ritual specialists, they take their gold outside in the sun to recharge, as we do take, our crystal outside the full moon. So it's really like the symbol behind it is extremely powerful. And then I look
Mhm.
specifically, into the Incas and into Buddhism. And, it's really like, for example, the Incas, gold was the literal sweat of the sun. They called gold the sweat of the sun, like literally. And it was a sacred metal considered to contain the power of the sun. And Sapa Inca, so Sapa Inca is not a name. It's an emperor. They had 18 emperors over 100 years of empire. And so Sapa Inca, whatever emperor it uh, was actually their godson. So uh, Inti was the godson, and he was represented as a human form with a gold disc. I'm sure you've seen it with a gold disc, with which emanated like rays and flames. And
Mhm.
so those Sapa Inca, those emperors, they were their sun god Inti's representative on Earth. And get this, gold was the physical manifestation of this divine connection.
Hmm.
I mean, it's amazing. And I've been
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
worldwide, like checking all those civilizations, and we don't have 3 hours, and I don't want to. I've been talking a lot, but it's like archaeologists. One more less little thing. Archaeologists, um, they found Inca skulls in the 15th century, 15th century, with gold plates covering holes. Imagine you take an Inca skull, gold plates covering holes, cut out of the bone, suggesting an early form of brain surgery,
Mm.
1500. So when you look at all those brilliant civilizations, we're not talking about a bunch of woo-woos running around the fire, We're talking about like brilliant minds. Like as of today, the Incas that made Machu Picchu, we're talking about 300 buildings, 7,000 feet on top of a mountain. We don't know how they built it. The Olmecs, we
Mhm.
don't know how they built it. If you look at the Chichen Itza, built by it's a city. Chichen Itza, it's a city in Mexico, built by the Mayans. You have pyramids aligned with the movement of the sun during the equinoxes, 4 times a year only. We don't know how they did that. It's like,
Amazing.
I'm like,
Yeah.
we're not talking about Lemuria that may have happened 200,000 years ago, and I believe it did, but we have no proof. We're not talking about Atlantis that may have happened 10,000 years ago. We have no proof. I do believe it because of all the QHHC sessions and Dolores Cannon and all those people seeing the same things and reporting the same things. We're talking about tangible things. I mean, you take a flight, you go in the Andes now, Machu Picchu is there. You go to Egypt, pyramids are there. You can visit Chichen Itza. You can visit, all those cities like the city of Tikal, for example, in Guatemala. Same thing. We don't understand how they build it. And when I see the wisdom, the intelligence, the power, those brilliant minds, I'm like, I'm going to follow those guys. I'm going to go with that because number one, it matches my vision. And number two,
Mhm.
everything aligns and makes sense, you know?
Amazing. Amazing. So take us through just real briefly, what does somebody experience in one of your photo shoots from kind of beginning to end? And just kind of maybe a condensed version of it, just so people get a little taste of it. And then obviously we're going to point them to your website so they can actually sign up to have this experience themselves. So,
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for asking. So when you book a gold photo shoot with me, with the team, you stepping into more than just an artistic experience, as you noticed a little bit through the picture that you saw. So you're really embarking on a sacred journey of self-discovery and spiritual elevation. This is what we do. The process, so rapidly, like quickly, the process of painting your body in gold mirrors the Buddhist path of refinement. Okay, it's the same idea. Just as gold is purified to reveal its true brilliance, this experience invites you to release layers, release limiting beliefs, release negative thought loops, release negativity, release attachment, which is the Buddhist philosophy. And so, together, what we do is that we will uncover the luminous golden essence within you, which is a reflection of your divine nature and higher self. So that's a process. So how does that work? So we begin by creating a sacred space where you can pause, really stop, really breathe, and align with your intentions for this transformative experience. Okay, so through guided meditation and affirmation, where we will literally find the title of the next chapter of your life, okay, by number one, getting to really know you, all right, finding and understanding your life challenges, because that's very important if you want to break through. And number two, reframing and rewriting the story. We will find, I would say, tailored mantras and affirmation in order to get you passionate again about the new ideal version of yourself. If necessary, some people come in, they're already passionate about themselves. So it's like if we were installing an inner cheerleader, in a way, a new software involving the subconscious mind, involving breathwork, because I'm like specialized in that, being a transformational breathwork specialist. So it would be totally crafted for you and implanted as a new operating system deep in your subconscious mind. So that's what we begin with. Like basically, if this was a magic wand, what would you like it to do? That's basically the idea. And so you'll start to let go of anything that clouds your light. That's what we want. We want you to be available, much like, again, the refining process that makes gold shine. This preparation sets the tone for a very powerful transformation, usually. And as I apply the gold paint, or my makeup artist apply the gold paint, layer by layer, you will begin to witness, because you see yourself, an external transformation that mirrors on your inner journey automatically. And the gold on your skin literally symbolizes the radiant Buddha nature that we have with each and every one of us. Automatically, it's a reminder that beneath the challenges of life or our upbringing, for example, beneath our social conditioning or societal conditioning, you are already whole, you are already pure, you're already enlightened. And so this is your opportunity to connect really deeply with yourself and embrace your divinity, like truly see yourself as you really are. And so that's very important to understand. It's not a one-time thing where you feel like crap, let's say 364 days of the year, and this one day you are all gold, you're amazing, you had the fun of your life. No. This is who you really are 365 days per year. Okay, if you really want to wake up and embrace it. So it's a different perspective. So during the photo shoot, you are going to embody the light and the power of gold. And as you move through natural, empowering poses that we will work, together, each photograph and each picture basically captures more than just your physical form. It does capture the radiant energy of your essence. So this is your moment to shine and, fully embracing the golden being that you are. That's basically, the experience. Afterward, of course, we'll take the time to, reflect on the experience. And again, just as, refining gold is a journey, so too is your personal transformation. And that's it. This is more than just creating art. It's about reclaiming the light within you that has always been there. And you leave, hopefully, feeling aligned, empowered, and deeply connected to your true golden essence. Carrying this memory with you. And those pictures, they are an anchor to that moment that you will never forget, because it will transform you And that's the point, that what I need really to people to understand, that this is not just a photo shoot. It's a profound step toward embodying the luminous, enlightened self that has always be within you. And that's what I need people also to like really get before we get involved and we start working together. And through this process, you will not only see yourself in gold, but also feel the the undeniable truth of your inner radiance. And so
So
that's
good.
what, yeah. So that's what the experience is about. Um,
Yeah. So
and
beautiful. That's so clear. Your vision is so clear. Yeah, like I can see it, feel it. It's so great because I've seen your work and your work is amazing. And but to hear you talk about it and with the heart and the vision that you have, it's I love the words that you said that the photos are like an anchor for that experience, right?
yeah,
That's such a great, just a great description. So beautiful.
it's an anchor.
And you're going to be presenting at Conscious Life Expo in February in Los Angeles. Tell us a little bit about what you're going to be sharing there.
Yes, I'm going to be talking about the goal ascension. I call this photo shoot the goal ascension. And I'm going to be introducing my book, The Sacred Frequency of Gold, um, ancient secrets and modern miracles of gold. That is really, really understanding the power of gold through ancient civilizations, but also with the Pleiadians, gold and the Pleiadians, gold and the Arcturians, gold and the Blue Avians. Understanding like how it's a conduct of energy. Gold is a major conduct of energy, and as we know, everything is energy, frequency, and vibration. So I'm going to talk about the book, introducing this, and yeah, I also have a coffee table book that I made out of the pictures, and I'm really excited to be there because the Conscious Life Expo is really like a high. You make like so many fascinating contacts, very high vibrational people. I think it's really very high vibe people. I love it's a phenomenon. I mean, I think it's the best conscious expo in the country. I'm not aware of anything similar. We're lucky it's in LA. I mean, for me, it's great. I love
Yeah.
Bashar too. I know Bashar's going to be there. I had the chance to talk to him and ask him questions last year. I mean, this year, it was February 2024. We're still in 2024. Ask him about the gold photography and how it helps people. And his answer was very, very on point and very interesting. It's on my Instagram. I share the answer. And so, yeah, it's gonna be fascinating. There's a lot of emulation. You discover a lot of things. I'm really excited about it.
It's going to be amazing. Have you ever considered doing a live painting and photo shoot there at Conscious Life Expo? Or would that
Uh,
be too sacred of an experience to do in front of people?
I would completely do it. So what I'm thinking of doing, so I have a lecture, I have a 45 minutes lecture, and I have a 90 minutes workshop. During the workshop, I'm going to paint people a little bit so they have a feeling of it. Probably just
Yeah.
the face so they can see, because we know the problem is like you need to shower if we do a full body gold. After that, it's going to be a little complicated in the hotel. But at least the face so they feel the vibe, the energy, and the power of the gold. But I would love to be able to do at the booth. It would be amazing to do a full, body gold photo shoot. I would love that.
That
But
would
it's
be
just that,
amazing.
yeah, it would be completely amazing. It's just about the shower and the technicality and the practicality of it. But the face will be done differently, probably at the booth. I'll try to do it at the booth too, but definitely during the workshop, the 90-minute workshop. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Zach, where can people? I know they can actually sign up to have this photo shoot, and I know you have different kind of levels of different experiences for this. What's the
Yep.
best way for people to reach out to you to schedule that and connect with you? And I believe they can also just buy your prints of the images. Is that correct?
Yeah, because the prints, the quality of those prints is they elevate the energy of the space. So, like the two behind me, for example, It's a very there's this very strong energetic power in it. It's on my website, ZZ Gallery. So it's my initials, Zack Zublena, ZZ Gallery, like a gallery.com. You have like a multitude of like those, like this is the collection, the 0 point field connection I mentioned at the beginning when we started to talk. And also, they can also have all the information about the Golden Ascension, which is about having themselves penning in gold and shot in gold. So two different things they can find on ZZ Gallery. And of course, I would love to meet them in person if they, if they come at the Conscious Life Expo early February 2025. I think it's 10, 11, 9, 10, 11. Was it something? Yeah, the dates.
Yep,
So,
February. Yeah, we got all the dates in the show notes. And,
yeah.
we'll have obviously some images embedded in the article on our website. But if you're watching this or listening to this, you've got to check out Zach's website. The photos are absolutely stunning. And beyond, as he said, them just being a piece of artwork, which they are beautiful, there is this whole underlying meaning and spiritual significance behind it. So, really encourage you to check out all of the images. So, Zach, thank you for what you're doing. Like such a unique expression of spiritual work in the world. It's so unique and it's so beautiful. I love hearing the backstory because what's so fascinating, if I were not to dig into connecting with you and I just saw the images, I'd be like, oh, wow, this guy's a really creative artist. But to hear the whole story of how this came through this multiple visions and Mother Mary and like the gold of the, different civilizations, like there's such a richness and depth and texture to it that flows through your life. Thank you for sharing that so eloquently with us. And thank you
Of
for what you're
course.
doing in the world. It's just so beautiful.
Well, thank you for letting me talk and like giving me this opportunity to share. Really, David, I really appreciate it because really, I'm glad you bring it up because really the pictures are the visible part of the iceberg. It's really what we see, but all what's happening, and below the surface is really where it takes really, like a place, the seed of it. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Zach, for being with us.
Yeah, no, of course, David. Thank you so much, and hopefully we'll be able to connect at the Conscious Life Expo. Would you be there
Without a doubt, I will
in
get to meet you in
person?
person. Yes.
Okay, that's amazing. That's great.